Okay, what's up, y'all? Sorry that the Sunday review is being held a little bit later than usual, and sorry that it's asynchronous today. I was earlier in Austin at Hack, Texas. I thought I was going to be able to record the review there, but the timeline was just different than I had planned. So again, apologies. I do want to note that A&M kids won, I think, 2 out of something 10 challenges. So y'all should sign up for hackathons like that. Come out, represent. It's always good to see A&M, winning such challenges. Um, okay, so today's topic is red black trees and 2-4 trees. We're basically picking up off where I said we were going to pick up from last week. So last week we went over AVL rotations, and that was, we were all sick of it by the end. I did promise that red black trees are going to be more cool. I think I'm going to deliver on that promise today. So real quick, I'm going to blow through some slides and then I'm going to do some examples, like usual. So, red black trees are another take on the tree balancing problem. So we're addressing the same problem as we addressed in the AVL trees, which is how do we make sure that the tree is created in such a way that we are not essentially just making a linked list. So as you can see, just intuitively looking at this, we're looking at log n height relatively. So we have some rules for a red-black tree. A red-black tree is defined to be a binary search tree, and then it has extra requirements on top of that. So the extra requirements are every node is designated as either red or black. This is only semantic in meaning, and it doesn't actually change the value of the search tree. It's just a tool that we use to keep the tree balanced. Let's see. The root node of a red-black tree is always black. There are no two adjacent red nodes that are allowed, and we'll see when this becomes important. And then this is the really tricky thing to maintain, I think, is that every path from a node must have an equal number of black nodes. So that means every subtree that you could draw on this structure has an equal black height from the left and a black height from the right. So black height is just a term meaning how many black nodes can you count starting from this node, and we're going to get into that more later. And then all leaves are black. So depending on how you implement your red-black tree, you might disagree with this semantically. In this example, every node is a complete node. Every node must point to either another node or null pointer, which again, this is more of just like a syntax thing that, you could do it differently, but um, we can, in fact, verify that all of the rules are true in this example. So every node is, yes, either red or black. In this case, the null pointers are considered to be black. The root is always black. That's good. Node 2 adjacent red nodes. And by adjacent, it means like a red node cannot have a red parent or a red child. Seems to be good. Every path from a node must have an equal black height from the left and the right. As we can see, it looks like we've got a black height of 2 here, black height of 2, black height of 2, black height of 2. And that's also true on any of the subtrees that we can draw. And then all of the leaves are black. Again, this last one, kind of iffy as to whether or not that's actually helpful. But when we follow all of these rules and draw a tree in such a way, we are guaranteed to have search, insert, and delete all be order of log n. So this is just another way of accomplishing the balancing goal. I think it's, a little bit, it's certainly a little bit more tedious than AVL, but there are cases in which it's less expensive, I think. So it's less balanced, so it's not as perfect, but it does limit the amount of work that you need to do. So again, we're not gonna have y'all code this yourselves, but just from a bird's eye view, should understand that this is a less complete take on the balanced tree, and it is easier to maintain. It's less operationally expensive. But I will say remembering the edge cases is maybe a little bit tougher with the red-black tree. Searching a red-black tree is exactly the same. So inserting is really what we're going to focus on today, like we did last time. I think these slides cover deleting. I don't think y'all need to know deleting from a red-black tree. I mean, if you are really curious, knock yourself out, look this stuff up. But essentially, the balancing, just like with AVL trees, for a red-black tree is done on the insert. So essentially, every time you insert a node, you insert it in such a way that you manipulate the tree and make sure that it's balanced, and then every insert will just maintain the tree balance. So it's not like when I say balancing, I don't mean you call an algorithm and balance the tree all at once. Balancing is something that you have to do every time you make an addition or a subtraction. We're going to go over that specifically. So that's just bird's eye view of red-black trees, and then bird's eye view of 2-4 trees. Again, it's a different solution to the same problem, which is how do we make sure that our tree is not just a linked list? Specifically, this is no longer a binary search tree, so now we're kind of like in the waters of different types of trees. This tree property, as you can see, it's not binary because each node can have more than 2 children. As in the last video, I think I said a binary tree must have 0, 1, 2 children, nothing more, nothing less. 2-4 tree could potentially have 4 children, so not a binary search tree. Depth property, again, building a 2-4 tree guarantees that you're going to have a height of log n. We're going to get to how you insert in a 2-4 tree and maintain these things. We'll get to this later. A lot of this math is not meaningful until you've seen a picture. So, yeah, I'm going to speed run this example. So if you've got an empty tree and you insert 4, as you can see, like trees you've seen before, it's all good. You insert another value 6, and then this is something new. So in a 2-4 tree, one node can store multiple pieces of data. So you haven't seen this yet. This is novel. Specifically, one node can store 3 pieces of data. And those 3 pieces of data define 4 Boolean operations that branch off of the tree. So we insert 4, and we separate the children of 4 to things that are less than 4 and things that are greater than 4. Once we insert 6 to the 2-4 tree, now we have 3 Boolean categories. We've got less than 4, between 4 and 6, and then greater than 6. And then as you can see, when we insert 12, now we've got less than 4, between 4 and 6, between 6 and 12, and greater than 12. So hence the name 2-4. We're actually referring to the potential number of children that each node can have, right? So 2-4 is maybe a little bit of a misnomer, because it doesn't mean that you can have 4 elements in a node. It means each node can have 4 children. And if each node can have 4 children, that means that at most each node can have 3 elements, right? As we can see, the pattern here is that, we insert 4 and we have 2 children. So 1 element, 2 children, 2 elements, 3 children, 3 elements, 4 children. It seems to be that the number of children is equal to the number of elements plus 1, or number of elements is equal to number of children minus 1. So I think that formula was over here somewhere. Yeah, so if you're just looking at this slide and you see number, oops, my bad. You see number of children is equal to number of value in node plus 1. Don't get freaked out. That's just essentially saying when you actually do these inserts, this is how many ways that you could separate the children based on the things that are in each node. If we insert 15, we're going to break this rule. As you can see, if we insert 15 to the structure, we would then have 5 subcategories, and a 2-4 tree can only have, 4 children per node. So we deal with that by promoting the element that ends up in this 3rd position right here. So that's going to look like this. So once we insert 15, you can see we have a violation here. The 12 is the 3rd element, so it gets promoted to a higher tier, and then we refilter all of these elements that were in this node to be children of 12. So as you can see, this category is less than 12, and this category is greater than 12. Let's continue the pattern. We insert 3. You can see 3 is less than 12. It goes here. 15 is still here. Insert 5. You can see once again we have a violation. The way that we deal with that violation is we take the 3rd element and promote it to the next level. So in this case, the 3rd element here would be 5. We promote it to this level. And then as you can see, this is where the subcategories start to make a little bit of sense, right? In this node, we've got 5 and 12. Separated out, we have the elements that are less than 5, being 3 and 4. The elements that are between 5 and 12, which is 6. And then the elements that are greater than 12, which in this case is 15. And we keep going. So you insert 17, as you can see. Every time that you promote a node, you move it up, and then you potentially have to rebalance again. So this example, all it's trying to tell you is that if you, in this case, have to insert into a node and you create a violation. Remember, 2, 4 nodes can only have at most 3 elements in a single node. There's a violation here. You fix that by promoting the 3rd element to the parent. Now this creates a violation, and then you promote 12 to be the grandparent, and the tree should be fixed right there. So again, sorry for speedrunning this. That's just an overview of red-black trees, overview of 2, 4 trees. I'm going to actually show some examples. So let me pull up my iPad really quickly. So again, sorry if I speed ran that. Please go back and pause the video or whatever it is. Make sure all those things made sense to you. But I am going to be actually doing a demonstration, so if you're lost, hang in there. So, the example that we had in the last Sunday review, I used this array. I'm just going to stick with the same series of numbers just to be consistent, because really I'm trying to build your intuition and prove a point that this binary search tree, which matches this sequence of numbers, is not efficient if you don't perform a special balancing technique. So, as you can see, 9, 1, 2, 8, 7, 5, 3, 6, 4, 0 creates this nasty, almost linked list structure that doesn't really give you any height advantage that you should be expecting to get from a tree. And then also right here is just a quick little recap of what a red-black tree has got to guarantee before I start getting into the specifics of how you would turn this this series of numbers into a red-black tree, which I will be doing. So number 1, nodes must be marked as red or black. Gonna see that in a little bit. Number 2, you have to have the same black nodes on every path, or the black height of the left and right subtrees has got to be identical. And then you cannot have adjacent red nodes. So again, we've seen this all before. This Sunday review, I'm experimenting with like pre-made notes because I usually practice these things, and I timed it out, and there was just no way I was going to be able to do this example by hand in time. So example is already done of how you would turn this into a red-black tree. I'm just going to walk through it step by step, and I hope it's useful. So when we are inserting into a red-black tree, I'm just going to draw a quick little example right here. So our first node is 9. We're going to insert every node as red, actually. So it's going to look like this, and then we have this rule: nodes must be the root must be black, which I think was on the slides. So we have to recolor it to black, and then we insert, let's see, 1 as a red node, and then we insert 2 as a red node. And as you can see, just immediately we had to fix the color here, and then we're going to have to fix this. This is a violation because now we've got 2 adjacent red nodes. So we can't just like jump into creating a red-black tree. Like there are a bunch of test cases that are going to cause different rotations to need to happen. So before we can just jump into actually making a red-black tree, I think it's important that we take a look at these. So there are some great resources on the internet for how to build a red-black tree. I don't think any of them really do a good job of like enumerating the amount of test cases that are possible. So for your sake, I have just decided you should think about it. There are 3 categories essentially. I mean, you can break this into as many categories as possible as you want. I think technically there's 10 cases. Don't worry. Essentially, the first case is in which you are inserting the root or looking at the root, and in this case, no matter what, you recolor the root to be black. So this is a pretty simple case right here. So back to our example earlier, we insert all nodes as red, so we insert 9 as red. Case 1, the node that we inserted, in this case x, is the root. We just happen to recolor it as black, and that solves the issue. Let's see, test number 2. If we are inserting a node to a black parent, we actually don't do anything special. Like on the slides before, if we're inserting a node, we always insert, assuming that the node that we're inserting is red. So this actually doesn't cause any issues ever, right? So if you had like a detailed tree and you insert a red child under a black parent, you're never going to mess up. You're never going to mess up this constraint because you don't have two adjacent red nodes, right? You've got a black one and then a red one, so you're never going to violate that rule. And also, if you're inserting a red node to a black parent, you are never going to violate this rule either, because imagine you've got like blah blah blah, some left subtree and some right subtree. Let's say you've got like 3 black nodes here and 3 black nodes here. Well, if you add one red node here, you haven't actually changed the black height of either side of the tree, so shouldn't cause you a violation. And then number 3, if you're inserting a red node to a red parent, which was like from our example before, like if we were to just try to jump in and build this red black tree, we'd get something that looks like this. And as you can see right away, this is going to be a violation. In the case that we are inserting a red node to a red parent, we then have to look at the uncle. So the uncle would be this node, or conversely, it could be the same structure but like reverse. So if you had like it couldn't be 9 there. If you had like 1 or 2 like this, and then 3 and then 4, and let's say that these were red nodes, and you were trying to insert 4 to, you got red child here and a red parent. This is going to cause you the same issue because remember, it's not this one. This causes you this issue, no adjacent red nodes. In this situation, you would then need to consider, what is this uncle right here? So these are these 2 cases, and this is probably the most difficult part about red-black trees. I know this is a lot of overhead given that I haven't actually made the red-black tree yet, just to like spit a bunch of rules out. But this is really the part where I think you need to focus. So I thought I was cute here. I thought I was going to be really cute. And essentially, as you can see, so this is one permutation. If the root is, if you're inserting the root or looking at the root must be black. There's one possible way to do that. If you're inserting and X has a black parent, there's like, again, like kind of just one way to do that. Actually, yeah, yeah, I'm gonna say there's one way to do that. Whereas for if you have the black parent and you're looking at the uncle cases, you've got the case where the uncle is black, and then the case where the uncle is red, and you actually handle these 2 different cases differently. So again, I thought I was being super cute. So if the uncle is black, you're going to balance the tree, and if the uncle is red, you are going to recolor the tree. I think I'm adorable. Look at these first letters here. Maybe semantically that'll help you memorize what's actually happening. But yeah, so essentially if the uncle is black, so in this case, if we're looking at a tree and whatever node here happens to be a black node, then we're going to do full-on AVL rotations. So in this case, it's going to look one of 2 ways. So you're either going to have something that looks like this, which is this is like a triangle style pattern, right? You've got like a wedge on the outside here, or you're going to have something that looks like this. This is like a line style pattern. Either way, these are both cases in which you've got a double red, right? You're inserting a red node to a red parent, and the uncle is black. So it could look like this, or it could be reversed, right? Like you could have, hypothetically, you could have your black uncle here on the left, and then you might have your node that you're inserting somewhere here. So it might look like this, or it might look the other way. Just keep in mind that these are symmetrical. So essentially, if the uncle is if the uncle is black, we're going to balance just exactly the way that we would do an AVL rotation. So this is essentially an AVL case. And in this case, we do our AVL rotation. So if we're given the structure, this would be like essentially like a double left rotation, if you remember from the last video. And then you would recolor these nodes right here to make everything work. Specifically, you're only recoloring nodes 1 and 2. don't get too caught up in this. You can just think if the uncle is black, essentially just perform the AVL case and recolor to make it make sense. And then if the uncle is red, you don't move anything, you just swap the colors around. So again, there's kind of like, I guess 4 permutations here. Just like there's 4 AVL cases, so these are the AVL cases. So if you don't remember the AVL cases, go memorize those again. And then in this case, there's also kind of like 4 permutations. So this is gonna look like, either you got the red uncle on the left or the red uncle on the right. Again, if it's symmetric, don't worry about it. The only thing that happens here is you recolor both the parent and the uncle to be black. So as you can see in this case, which is the triangle case, it's going to be handled like this. And if it's the line case, it's going to be handled exactly like this, no difference. And then if you are looking at a tree, like suppose this is like the whole tree and this is the root node, then we're going to go back to case number 1 and just go ahead and recolor this root node to be black. So if I lost you, I'm so sorry. I know it's a lot of nitpicky stuff. If you look on the internet, different people, different resources are going to give you different ways of remembering these things. They're going to count these things differently. If you want to be really intellectually honest and complete with yourself, technically there's kind of like 10 cases. There's, this is one case. Technically, this is kind of like, is kind of one case, and this is kind of like 4 cases, I guess. This is kind of like 4 cases. So again, we're going to be referencing this, but as a rule of thumb, just think black uncle, got to balance, red uncle, you got to recolor. So hopefully that is enough preparation to actually get into it. So here's the sequence of nodes that we were inserting last time. And again, like I said, I already drew out these rotations because this took so long to do by hand and like get it all looking nice. I'm gonna walk through this one at a time. So we already got here. So, you would insert this root as red, recolor it to black, insert 1 as red. So you still don't have any problems at this level. And then when you try to insert 2, you can see now we've created a violation because we've got a red node that is the child of another red node. And like we said before, we can't have adjacencies. So this is going to cause an issue. And as you can see, we are now in case 3 where we've got a red parent and we need to decide what to do with the node that we're inserting. So we're in this case, we don't have an uncle. So we don't have an uncle. What do we do? Do we go to do we say the uncle is black or do we say the uncle is red? Well, I'm just going to give it away. Specifically, if you're confused about this case where it's like, is there an uncle even? You just consider the uncle to be a null pointer, and null pointers are black. So specifically, I mean, you could redraw this tree to be like kind of this. So technically, we're kind of looking at this tree. So technically, we've got a black uncle. Don't worry too much about it. So now we've got to handle this according to the black uncle case. So what did I say? If the uncle is black, you balance. So we're going to perform an AVL rotation. This is just a straight up AVL rotation. So this is a 2-part AVL rotation. Hopefully you remember that. If you don't remember AVL rotations, probably go refresh yourself. And then you're going to recolor these 2 nodes just to make it make sense. Again, the memorization and the rules are nice, they're helpful. If you can intuitively understand that, like, okay, black uncle means I need to rebalance, then you can just kind of like intuitively figure out what these things need to be. So yeah, so this is good. As you can see, we've got a black root node, black height of the left and right are all good. We don't have adjacent red nodes, so our tree is now balanced again, and we insert see, what do we insert next? We insert, I think we're on 8. Yeah. So we insert 8. And again, once again, this causes a problem because now we have 2 adjacent red nodes. and we're going to handle this as the inserting a red node to a red parent with a red uncle. So as you can see, inserting a red node to a red parent with a red uncle. Now we're on this side. Again, I'm sorry for, like, being all over the place and kind of scattered, but there's a lot going on here. So we handle this simply by recoloring. Remember, if the uncle is red, then you recolor. So we're going to recolor these two nodes. And also we recolor the parent node, but because the parent is also the root, we recolor it back to being black. So that's kind of what I was hinting at before, is in the recolor case, you might have to recolor the root node, which is like this step right here. So, maybe if your whole tree looks like this, or your whole tree looks like this, then you might actually be recoloring this node as a final step. So this actually happened here. So, just pay attention to that, be on the lookout for that. See, that should fix it. So now, as you can see, if we were to measure the black height, we've got a height of 1 here and height of 1 here. Seems to be equal, seems to be equivalent. So no issues there. No adjacent red and red nodes. I think we should be good. Let's see. Okay, so let's insert 7. As you can see, once again, 7 is going to cause us an issue. So we're right here. We've got 2 adjacent red nodes. Now we're in the case where we've got a black uncle, so we've got to rebalance. As you can see, this is going to be the AVL tree that gets rebalanced. And then once we rebalance, we recolor the nodes to make it make sense. Again, I went over that before in the earlier video, so if that freaks you out, go watch the earlier video. Let's see. We insert 5, which, where is that done? Where did we insert 5? Yeah, okay, so we insert 5, and once again, we've got a violation here because we've got 2 adjacent red nodes. So we're going to handle this by, let's see, it's a red uncle, so we're just going to recolor here. So we're going to recolor 7, 9, and 8. And this is actually the case in which we don't have to change this one back to black because it's not the root. We just perform these 3 recolors, and that should be good. Should be good to go. As you can see, black height on the left is again 1 still, and we still got a black height of 1. No adjacent red nodes. I think we're good to go. We're going to insert 3. Once again, we have a violation here because you've got red node, red parent. Let's see, looking at this quickly, we can determine that we're in the case where we've got a black uncle. So we're going to do an AVL rotation on this tree. It's going to look like this, and then we recolor accordingly. Again, it's pretty straightforward once you get the hang of it. I really suggest that y'all do an example, just to prove to yourself that you know what's going on. Okay, see, we inserted 3, now let's insert 6. That's going to look like this. Again, gonna have an issue here with these 2 nodes. I'm going to spend maybe a little bit more time explaining this pass because this one we actually have to do 2 rotations, or like 2 fixes. So first we're in the case in which we've got a red uncle. So we're just going to recolor the parent, the grandparent, and the uncle like we've been doing before. So these nodes all get recolored. And as you can see, that actually creates another problem right here that wasn't there before. So now we've created a problem. Now we have to deal with this problem that we just created. Looking at this a little bit more closely, seems to be we are in the black uncle AVL case. So we're just going to rebalance as an AVL tree and then sort the nodes accordingly. So the children of 8 are these ones. The children of 2 are going to end up being 1, and then the children of 5, 3, we're going to sort that to be greater than here. So again, I'm so sorry if this is a lot of information to process all at once. And then I think the other inserts that we do 4 and 0 don't actually break things. Yeah, Yes. And so as you can see by the end of the example, we've got a tree such that the height is order of log n. It looks nicely balanced. As you can see, the black height of the left and the black height of the right are identical. We don't have any red nodes touching each other. It looks like we did a good job. We followed these rules. Remember, if x is the root, you recolor it as black. If the parent is black, you insert as red and don't worry about it. If the parent is red, then you're looking at the uncle. If the uncle is black, then you do a AVL balance. If the uncle is red, you just recolor. And then you repeat these steps all the way up the tree if you create a second issue until you've fixed it entirely. So yeah, that's red black in a nutshell. Now I'm going to speed run 2-4 trees. So I think if you can get red black trees, you can get 2-4 trees. This is definitely a lot more complicated than a 2-4 tree. 2-4 trees are going to be like a nice breath of fresh air. So let's do this quickly. To create a 2-4 tree, we're just going to insert these nodes one at a time. So first we're going to insert 9. Imagine we've got some kind of node here. We're going to insert 1. And remember, as we're inserting these nodes, we are inserting elements into a node such that we have at most 4 children. And as y'all remember, this is going to essentially be sorted into less than 1. This is going to be between 1 and 9. And then this is going to be 9 through infinity or whatever it is. Maybe I should be consistent with my notation here. I'm going to say this is negative infinity to 1. Yeah, so representing these different categories. But that aside, see, we've inserted 1 and 9. We should be good. Let's insert 2. So 2 is going to take up this spot here. So now we've got this node. Again, hypothetically, we're going to have 4 different children. So we're still good here. And then when we try to insert 8, now we create a problem because, as you can see, now to do this justice, we're gonna have to have a category for less than 1, between 1 and 2, between 2 and 8, between 8 and 9, and then greater than 9. Which, as you can see, this is 5 children, and we defined a 2-4 tree to have at most 4 children. So this is no bueno. We're going to fix this by promoting the third element to a level higher. So as you can see, our new tree is going to look like this. And we're going to sort the old elements of the node into their respective nodes, and it's going to look like this. Let's see. Yep. Actually, no, there's no node here. I'm totally tripping. Okay. So now, once again, we've restored balance. Let's keep adding nodes. So we add 7, and let's see, 7 is going to be in this node right here. So I'm going to redraw this. 1, 2, 7. Again, the 4 potential children. As you can see, we can't add anything else to this node on the left. This should be full. Now we're going to insert 6, which right away you can see that that's going to cause a problem because 6 is going to go right here. So we're going to have to promote this element. Oh, did I skip? We're inserting 5. I'm so sorry, y'all. Y'all gotta catch me. I'll get carried away. I get so excited about trees and data structures, I'm not even paying attention. Okay, so we insert 5, and right away you can see that's going to cause a problem. So we're going to promote this element up to the parent. So let's handle that. We got 5 and 8. And then what did we have here before? It was 1, 2, and 7. And as you can see, we're going to have to redistribute these children elements. So 7 now belongs between 5 and 8. So I'm actually good. I'm just going to redraw the tree down here. So we've got our parent node with 5 and 8, and this is going to branch into less than 5, between 5 and 8, and then greater than 8. So in this node, we're going to have 1 and 2. Here we're going to have 7. and then here we're gonna have 9. So I believe I did this right. I think I did this right. If you want to catch me and I messed up, please like, send me an email or something. I think that's right. I think that's right. Okay, so let's insert 3, see what happens. Looks like 3 is going to go here, so still no issues. As you can see, this node is now full. We can't take any more elements in this node, because then we're going to have more than 2 potential children, and that would be an issue. So as it stands, this is a valid 2-4 tree. Let's insert 6, and yeah, right away we can see this is going to be an issue, because 6, oh wait, no, 6 is fine. This is fine. I misled you. Appears I have broken my pencil. Okay, well, I did not expect that to happen. Oh, okay, we're back in business. Never mind, y'all. We are so back. You know, that's the thing about being gone, is that every time that you're down in life, that's just an excuse to say we are so back, because we are so back. Let's see, so 6 and 7 would both be here, and then we're gonna have 3 kids. So I think this is fine. I think we're still following all of the rules. Let's insert 4. Which, okay, yeah, so here is going to be a problem, because we're going to try to insert 4 here, and that is going to be too many elements in this node. So we're going to have to promote this 3rd element up to the parent, and rather than erase things, I'm just going to redraw it again. So this is going to go down here. We're going to have 3, 5, and 8. The nodes that are less than 3 are going to be 1 and 2. Between 3 and 5, we're going to have 4. Between 5 and 8, we're going to have 6 and 7. And then over here, we're going to have 9. So as you can see, 2-4 tree method is pretty simple. It's just a way of, balancing a tree. I think this is probably the easiest method out of all the ones that we've looked at in the last 2 weeks. And then what was the last thing to add? 0. So 0 goes here. Just add one more category. Yeah, as you can see, I mean, it stays pretty flat the whole time. This is certainly no linked list. And then just for fun, I'm gonna say what happens if we add a -1 here at the end of this list of integers, just because I want to break it one more time and show you the grandparent promotion. So if we're adding number 1, if we're adding -1, we're going to be adding it here, right? So this is going to cause this node to now have too many elements. So we've got -1, 0, 1, 2, which means we're going to have to promote the 3rd element, which in this case is 1, to here. So now we're going to have too many elements in the parent node. So we're going to have to promote this element 1 level to be the grandparent. So I'm going to redraw the whole structure. So you can see we promoted 5. And to the left of 5, we're going to have 8. And to the right of 5, we're going to have 1 and 3. The children of 1 and 3 are going to be, see, -1 and 0. And then we're going to have 2. And I think 4 goes here. And then we're going to have 6 and 7. And 9. And then all of these are going to have their respective potential children. I think I did this right. I hope I did this right. If there's a small mistake in there, I apologize, but you should get the gist, I think. So that's red black trees, that's 2-4 trees. Again, sorry to speed through these so quickly. I know it's kind of a tedious topic. I definitely don't think that I had time to do this red black example without having drawn it beforehand. If that made it harder to follow along, then I apologize, and maybe I won't do that in the future. If it was really good and you see me in person, office hours, let me know. I'm definitely open to feedback. So it's just a little summary of what we went through. We took this series of numbers, and from last week, you should remember that this series of numbers gives you this really nasty looking tree right here, which is pretty much no good. It's basically a linked list. We decided instead that we were going to create a red-black tree, and a red-black tree has got to follow these conditions. So nodes have got to be semantically marked as either red or black. You've got to have the same number of black nodes on every path from the left and the right from each node, and then no adjacent red nodes. We're going to handle all of these three requirements by forming very specific inserts, and the inserts kind of fall into these different categories. We defined handling the categories as if we're looking at a root. By the way, we always insert nodes as red. So, that if I didn't ever say that before, uh, that's pretty important. So we insert nodes as red, and then we recolor and rebalance them accordingly. So if X is the root, we always recolor it to be black. If X has a black parent, then we are not messing up any of the rules, and we can just insert, proceed. If X has a red parent, then we need to look at the color of the uncle, and that'll determine whether we're kind of in case one or case two. So if the uncle is black, we're going to balance using AVL balances and then also a recolor. And if the uncle is red, we're going to just recolor. The case where we just recolor is subject to going back to the condition where we have to recolor the root potentially, as you can see right here. Like if we do the recolor step, which is here, we might have to correct the color of the root node. We went through these steps, and I think we hit every possible case in this example. As you can see, red-black is pretty efficient. It looks like this tree is pretty well balanced. I think we did a pretty good job there. You might want to pause this and convince yourself that these rotations are correct. I'm pretty sure they're good. And then for a 2-4 tree, essentially you just maintain the structure until you get to a point in which a node has more than 4 children, in which case you rebalance by promoting the third element of each node. And then I showed what that looks like to have a grandparent promotion. So that's about all that I had for today. Just like balancing part 2. I think this material is a lot cooler than AVL trees. It's just my personal take. AVL is still kind of like the foundation that you need to build upon. Hopefully that was, informative, something that is going to help you all actually learn. If y'all have any questions, please reach out to me. I'm sorry that it was asynchronous again. Those of y'all who show up live make the experience so much better. And I actually know what I need to teach because y'all can ask questions. Sorry I was unable to hold the review synchronously. I don't think that's going to happen again this semester. Anyways, please reach out if you have questions. Best of luck studying.